Hello guys, it's Paula and we are going to finally start on this spring type journal. Now it's not spring yet, but it's getting stinking close and I thought we would have fun. I showed you this vintage embroidery that I got from an estate sale and it was pretty puckered. You know, when I started ironing it, I really didn't pay that much attention to it before, but it was pretty puckered, so I had to iron it really well, but you can see it still has a little bit, but it still has that vintage flair. Now, I was going to let this side be the front, in other words, like this, but most of the puckering was right here, and it's not that bad, but, you know. You don't want it on the front, and this side is just as pretty, and it's not like you can't look at this side. So what I did is I put batting inside the book. I used this beautiful rosette, tiny pink rosebuds, and I folded up the bottom portion of the bottom of this square. Now, it's still ending up being a pretty big journal. So, I'm going to have to use some cardstock in it to, fill up some of the pages and so forth. But we got this cute little pocket here. And I hand stitched it in the middle. And then I added some lace as I was making it. So, I hope this is a soft cover. But it's so heavy duty with all this embroidery on it that it did not need anything else to bulk it up. And I really do like it. This is one that it wouldn't hurt my feelings if I ended up with it. So, anyway, I am going to start cutting papers. And I haven't even measured it to see how big it is yet, but we're going to do that now. This is the best I can do with the camera. I tried it wouldn't go out further than it is, and so we'll have to deal with it, I guess. So, straight across is 7, and up and down is 10.5. So the reason I didn't make the pocket bigger was because it got into this heavier, like, florals. And I knew that would not work. But you guys, it turned out so well. I'm very pleased. It's beautiful. And so I love it when I find something like this. I have a hard time giving it up, but I love it. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to work on trying to fill the pages. So, we need things that are 10 inches long or tall. The only thing that would be is cardstock. But I have some cardstock that has writing on it. For instance, this is one. And I'm going to, the widest that the paper can be is 6 on probably most anything. And it's 7. So I didn't even think to measure it ahead of time. I figured it did not matter. And so this has green on the back. And that's okay too. Now I'm going to find more of these papers. This is the only one I have handy. Because I just thought about this when I was taking some other things out of their spot. Now, this is 12 by 12, and so for the height we need 10, and for the width we need 7. So we don't have to cut anything off the width. We'll just have to cut off. We'll have to cut this to 10 because the book is 10 and a half. So maybe 10 1/4. Yeah. Did I say 10? Let me measure that again. I said it was 10.5, didn't I? I get to talking and I forget. Yes, so we need it to be 10.25. And, you know, and 7 on the sides, because if anything's more than 7, we need to back it down to 6 3/4. So we're going to do 10.25. Gives us plenty of room. Going to have to cut off this little design below, but that's okay. No biggie. And let's see. All right. So that's the first one, and we're going to fold it in like this. And there, I do have several different things with different journaling places that are cardstock too. So this won't be that difficult to do. So let's just put this page in and see where it's gonna live once it's in here. Yeah, see, that's perfect. Although it's still, I think we're gonna go ahead and take it down to 10. I think it still looks a little, just a little bit tall. We don't want it to be, when we go to try to stitch the signatures in, for it to be, you know, where it could go up or down. And I'm really careful about that, but, you know, it can happen if you get too close. That's why you should always leave at least 1/4 and sometimes more, even though that is 6. 6 is really perfect for that. So see, that's going to be perfect. Awesome. Now we've got a lot of things that's not going to be that perfect. But let's do the cardstock first. Now, I have several cardstocks here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut down to 10 on the height. I guess I should see what's on the other side. Oh, it's just white, which gives good journaling space. Okay. And this is going to be 6 across. Makes cutting out the papers easy, doesn't it? Okay. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is just add these in a little at a time. I'm just going to lay them inside. I can actually go ahead and stick them inside each other, I guess. Although this isn't necessarily the order they will go. And, yeah. So, here's the next flowers that I liked. It's 12 by 12 as well. And so, I'm going to, I'm looking here trying to decide which way I want to do this one. I don't think there's a right way. You have to always look, though, because it makes you think it's this way because the leaves are hanging down. But then you look this way. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way because I think there's more of a chance that it would be correct going that way. Okay. Fold in half. Whoops. This actually is going to go behind this one. So let's go ahead. Let's take this one out for now. We'll put it back. I'm going to get these books in order first, or these pages in order first. Okay, and here we have this cute wreath. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to keep the whole wreath, okay? So, what I'm thinking is we'll cut it as close as we can down here, and then we'll see what we're left with. We might get to keep a lot of it because of the height of the book. Now let's see. Take it down to 10. Let's just see. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. So let's start taking a little bit off of each end so it looks balanced, and then we don't have to. So we'll take a little bit off of this side. If we ever get down to the area, I know it's going to make the circle not quite perfect. The only thing about cutting on this end is, see, we still have that little bird up there, and I don't want to chop his head off. So we're not going to trim anymore on that end. We're just going to trim here because we have plenty of room here to take into consideration, and we don't chop up a bird in the process. So see, that's not too bad, right? Okay, so we're going to have 2 of these wreaths in this book, maybe. I don't know for sure on the second one. We'll just have to see how it cuts. I first was going to do like 2 signatures, but I found doing the bunny books on the quilted covers that it was really easier to do one signature, and it looked better. So we'll just have to see how it comes out and go from there. Okay, this one, let's see, I'm going to call that the top. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. It has kind of a rusty look on the edges. Huh, I wonder why. I guess that's part of the design. Listen, I love this cutter. I only use it for paper when I do my books, because it just gives you a better cut. You don't have any of those little paper things hanging off. Because honestly, let's get real. We all know that the Fiskars cutter, at least, it doesn't last at all compared. The blade is what I'm talking about. It doesn't last at all compared to this thing, you know. So this paper is perfect because, you know, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, and it's got a bumblebee. Think of Gina when I see the bumblebee. Hi, Gina, if you're watching. Okay, here we go. Okay. Put this in our book. Move to the next one. Now, this is going to be, I have it in here to be the center of the book. So I wrote center on here because I have a tendency to mess up when I forget it. And I don't like to fold the paper back and forth, because, you know, it's not cool that way. All right, so let's see. It's 12 inches, so I'm going to take an inch off of each side first. So that takes it down to 11. I'm going to flip it over and take it down to 10 inches, which it's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I've got 2 of these. So one of them is going to be just in the book, and the other one is going to be the center of the book. I'm going to add a few extra pages, probably 2 of each of these, so that it is full of florals. I think the florals that we've got here are beautiful. And I put the reef in because I wanted to show you how beautiful all types of florals would be in this. So I'm going to go back and we're going to put this one in again because it's beautiful. And it really goes the best of any of the scrapbook pages. Now, I could have spent more time and found more florals, but it took me a while to go through a bunch of books to find what I did. You know, there's florals in everything, but I wanted it to, you know, look familiar to the front. I wanted them to look familiar to the front. In other words, like this one, you've got these shaped, star-shaped flowers, and that's what this page has, is star-shaped flowers. That's why I used this paper twice, because I just think it's beautiful. Okay, and then I'm just going to put them in the same way. I'm going to go ahead and cut them all, and I'm going to put them in the same way that I did the others, same order, and then I'll decide what stays and what goes. If I need to get rid of some, I will. Because I don't normally use this many cardstocks in my books. It's just because the height of this paper is just, your casual paper, everyday paper is not normally that tall. So it's taller than what's normal. And we need some height in the paper to make the book strong. If you know what I mean. So we're cutting 10 and the paper is 6 wide. So that's perfect. So I hope you guys have been having a good day with all this virus thing. It makes it kind of tough, doesn't it? It's scary, but at the same time, we can't get scared. We have to have faith that we're going to be okay. If we're smart and we have faith, we'll be fine. And if you have anyone in your family that has this virus, I'm so sorry. And we need to send up prayers for that person. Just leave a comment below. You don't have to say the person's name or anything. Just say you need prayers for, you know, whatever name you want to use. Okay, so again, I'm cutting 1 inch off of each end. Uh-oh, I forgot to do the reef. That's all right. We'll do this first, and then we'll go back and do the reef. And let's see. This will take us down to 10. So this time, instead of folding the outside way, we're going to fold the inside way. I think I was thinking I didn't want to use this other reef, but, so this is how it's going to look when you open up. It's a lot of cardstock. I don't usually use that much, so we may pass on that reef. But we need it to strengthen up, and I may take some of it out, because by the time I add all the other papers, you know, the one nice thing about junk journals is that you do have the opportunity to add a lot of different sizes, and that's going to be fun. So I'm going to move these papers out of the way for now. And we're going to put in some other kinds of paper. Now, I think I'm going to put these two birds in. Aren't they beautiful? I chose these two birds not because of their beauty, because obviously they're pretty, but because they're surrounded by florals, okay? Now, the problem is we can't really, we'll have to put them in sideways, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but in this book, we don't have any choice, okay? But it will still be beautiful. I promise it still will be beautiful. So let's cut the raw edge off here because my blade was acting up when I took these flowers or these birds and cut them out. My blade would not work. I tell you what, I had to buy me some new blades. That one went in the trash right before I turned the video on. It is not fixable, which is aggravating, you know, when you think about it. So on this little guy, I'm going to make sure the whole bird shows, even if it means making the other side smaller. So we're going to do like this. We're going to fold from this side. One side will be a little bit bigger than the other. I don't want to cut his head off, right? So this is how he'll look on one side, and this is how he'll look on the other side. Now, this back portion I didn't even look at. It has birds, so that's not much different, huh? So on this one, we're going to fold it complete, because most of his body is on that side. So that'll be fine. Now, let's see where we want to put that. You know what? I think we'll put them all in at one time. Let's just stick them in here for now. All right. And so, of course, what would a book be without Anita Holden? I tried to bring up strictly bird and floral type stuff. And, oops, I didn't push that over all the way. Way to go, Paula. Like this one has a bird's nest and it says May, which is good because I want to measure this. One side looked to me like it was crooked. 5.5. No, it's my eyes, I guess. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to fold them in half. I could do, instead of folding that one in half, the only reason I couldn't do this on the other one and make it look good is because the picture was so big. But on this one, let me trim it and I'll show you. I want to make sure that it's close to the same size. 6.5. Okay, so I'll put this one at 6.5. Let's make sure. Nope, 6.25. I totally missed that one. Okay. All right, now I can make this work and make it where it can be stitched into the book. And so that's what I'll do. Yeah. See, this can be the one here, and this one can be the one on the other page. And then you have her beautiful writing on this side. And yeah, that's what we'll do with her. So we got to work on that. Let's see. Now, I've got so many other things coming our way. This is a big book, and I thought maybe, you know, I could fold it, but then it only gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 inches that would stick out. So I'm thinking instead we'll make this have the smaller, I'll show you what I mean. Except for this one, look at this one. How cool is this? All right, so every time I get to a different section, this just shows you that there's a different section. But every time I do, I want to get my color pencils out. I just think they look like so much fun, don't they? Okay, so this is the same sort of thing. I want them to be the same size because I'm going to try to see if I can stitch them together and make them work. If I can't, they'll be folded over as well. Okay. Now let me get the height on these. I can cut off some at the bottom. Okay. Let me get down here. Right here. Let me make sure that's the same on both of them. Yeah, it is. Okay. Now that is about a 1/2 inch bigger than we want it to be. It needs to be 10. Okay. Now, why does that look crooked to me? That's so weird. My eye is seeing it as crooked. And so just below the 10. Let's see what it is on this side. No, it's the same size on both sides. It just looks, my eye is not, I need new glasses. And guess what, guys? I have cataracts. I'm like thinking, okay, I'm going to get my hip done. And it's all going to be over. No, it's not. That is crooked. See, it wasn't just me. If you look right there, you can see it is crooked. I don't know. I must have not had it pushed up like it needs to be. So we're just going to cut them at the same time. Then we know it's straight, right? We're going to put it at 10. I don't know why that cut crooked, but now it should be fine. Yep, looks great. Okay, so this is how the books would be together if you were putting them together. So I'm going to take it like this, and we're going to decide. I said 6.5 at the most, but we really need to do 6. And then I'll do 6 1/4, and then I'll see how it's looking. And if I need to cut more off, I can. And I'm going to make these work like the Edith Holden ones work. See, like right now, it's longer. So I need to really cut it back another 1/4 inch. So we'll do that on the other side. And that'll give us this at 6. Let's get you up against the 6 here. See, it's not wanting to go. It's sliding out, is what it's doing. It needs to stop it right now. That's better. Yeah, that's better. We didn't have to cut off the whole picture. But I love these wild looking things. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we've got Edith Holden. I didn't check to see if it was the right width, did I? Oh, no, it's way too wide. We got to see if we got to cut off very much. On this side, we're all right. So let's do it on this side. Yeah, we'll do it on this side. Now, we got to get this at 6. just like the other one. And then I'll sew something in for the spine, and then it will work just like any book. I love these little guys. I love them. Okay, so there's that. And then now I'm going to come back to this. I think I want to cut these in half on the line. Ooh, couldn't get much more perfect than that. Let's see. Just like this. Let's see how tall these are. We're looking at orchids here, which are so beautiful. So this is going to be less than 12. We don't need it to be more than 10. Is that correct? Yes, I think it is. In 10 what we went with. Get these little slippery things out of here. Let me just measure to be sure. Yes, 10. I question myself on everything I do. Makes myself crazy. Makes me crazy. Okay. So we'll cut from the bottom first. Now it's so weird. This has a little bit of a line. I'm going to cut that off because it's distracting. It will be distracting to your eye. Okay, so now let's go like this. I'm going to do it side by side. That way we have them both facing up. So the first thing we need to do is cut them down to 10. No, we don't do that because we're going to fold this. So if it is, we'll just fold one and let's just see how it turns out. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, I decided we would fold these because there can be some of the small stuff in the book. Look how pretty those are. The other side, they're on the inside on the other ones. Okay, so now, put this back in here for now. I've been cleaning my craft room and I came up on this journal that has all pink paper in it. And I almost threw it away because I don't use it. It's an old book I've had, but I guess that makes this more vintage, right? This is not vintage paper, but it's in good condition, and I love having the colorful paper in the book. So, because we know it's the right height, let's measure the width, and we may not have to do a thing. Nope, we do not have to do a thing. So this is measured correctly. It looks like there's 4 of them. So these would be great pages to journal on. Got those perfect lines and okay. And then let's see what else I've got over here. I've got music sheet. Let's see how tall this is. I know the width looks okay. You are not going to believe it. It is exactly the size it needs to be. Oh, but it's not as wide as it. It's too long. So I'm trying to think here. How do I want to do this? Let's bring it over just a little bit more and see if we can't get that to work. I'm going to have to cut some of that off. Don't have any choice. And let me see here. It's the right height. Okay. Now I have some small things I want to put in. And if these don't look good, I'll just pull them out when it comes time. I like to put small and big things in the books. Trying to get that even. I think this is going to be perfect. It's already a, I thought it was a little booklet. Yep. Perfect for this book, right? Yeah. So, let me put it over here since it doesn't need any attention. It's exact size. Now, let me get these other flower things I found yesterday. I guess I found them because I wanted this book to be full of color, and whatever it takes to be full of color is what we'll do. Okay, so all we have to do is clean up these edges, and then we'll fold them to go into this book. And they're the right size. So let me measure to be sure. Yeah, they're 5.5 actually. You can't get much closer than that. Okay, here's one more. I just think these are beautiful. This came out of a different shape book. I just noticed. Let me trim the edge just to get the, I don't like it all wavy looking, because you know when you pull them out of the book, sometimes you can't find the center, and I love that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it this way, because that just has to be upright. One thing about magazine or book pages that are glossy, which I don't normally like, but they're perfect for this book. If they want to slide around, you know. So that's going to look cute. Okay, let's see what we've got over here. This is another one. Look at that lattice work on that little arch. So pretty. We'll do it the same way. We're going to fold it this way so you can have the beautiful arch with the flowers. Perfect. Okay, now let me see if there's anything else. I know I want that in there. I know I want these two in there. I've got a lot of children's and different kinds of book pages. I know I want these two doilies in there. Let's do this other music sheet. I forgot to do them both, because I like to put two in there. Unfortunately, we have to measure it, get it out as wide as we can. Now, why is that measuring different? Did I cut this other one too short? Oh no, I didn't pull this one out to 6 is what the problem was. Now that should be right. No, because that one is right there. But, let's just see how off we are. Just a tiny bit. All right, there we go. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I was concentrating and making sure I didn't want to have to go dig that book out again if I got it wrong. So I wanted to make sure it was right. Okay, and now we have this one, which we know when we fold it in half, it's going to be perfect. But I thought with the flowers, I love this stationery. I use it a lot if it goes with the theme or the, basically, spring. If it goes with spring. I think it does. So I'm not stacking those in any particular way. I'm not even worrying about that right now. We still have a bunch to do here. Now this one I want to do with a fold out. This is a strawberry, not strawberry, avocado stained page. And so we want this to be 6. So I'm thinking I want to score this at where we know it will be at 6, which I'm trying to get it to stay on 6. There we go. So I'm going to put a little bit of a line right there and right there. So I know that's where I want to score it. So I'm going to bring it over here. Don't cringe. I'm going to line it up on this crack. Make sure it's all where it needs to be. Let me get my stylus. This one's kind of big, but let's see if it works. I just don't want to rip the page. Okay, and then we're going to bring it in like this. Right where we folded it. And we want to make sure this is correct. Let me measure here inside the book. Yes, it is. So I'm going to fold this part over so we have a little bit of a fold out. So I just wanted to get the little crease. Yeah, just like that. Okay. I guess we only have one of those. Then I have a few other different types of paper. This is an old Creative Memory stationery. This is printer paper, and for the first time, I don't have to tear off the edges because it's going to work. Because it is actually with, yeah, it's like 9.5. So that works out perfect. Boy, I need to get some tea staining done. I'm getting low. Okay, here is this. I'm thinking we might want to slow down, and let me see what we've got. Okay. I took some just fun things out of some books, but we still have our digitals. So I'm going to say we don't add anything else at this point except our colored paper and the ones we've already done here. And we also have our tea stain paper, which I think I've got in this stack. So, all right. Let's do these first. I could do 2 at a time of these. I probably could do more, but I'm not a risk taker. This is vintage paper. And I need to cut some of the end off to make it 10. Wait a minute, let me think. I don't want to do that. I want to just fold it in half. And I may replace these two if I don't like the way they look. But I already cut that part off, and if they don't look right, I'll change them. So I've just put 4 pieces of this vintage paper, and I mean, it has a completely different feel. I love the way it feels, and it's just, yeah, it's cool. You should have seen the package it was in. Dirty. Dirty paper. Here's some tea stain paper. I didn't go with the super dark because it's springtime. And I just felt like it needed to have a lighter tea stain. Okay, now I'm going to work on this one. This is the kit that everybody voted for. They didn't care that it had things sideways. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the ones that don't have objects. Like that has a butterfly and that has a butterfly. So I'm just using these 3. And then I'll use some of the other one. And I'll just print those to go with the rest of the kit. So it has keeping everything together, and I'm going to trim this edge off the best I can so we don't have to do just one at a time kind of thing. So what are you guys doing? Tell me in the comments below. Are you staying home? Did your work close and are you staying home, or are you still working? That's the hard part of this, is I don't know how they're gonna know who to send checks to and not send checks to. I don't know how it's gonna work. I understand, from what I understand, people are going to get their paychecks, but I don't know. Some businesses don't have a way of letting you work. Like my husband is home today. He's working from now on until he retires, which, you guys, is next Friday, the 27th. My husband is retiring. He can help me get some things set up better. I am not a technical person. He can help me learn some of this, get some of this technical stuff figured out on my YouTube. And, you know, he uploads the videos and he takes care of my Etsy. He takes care of that part of it. So I have more time to work in here. But, you know, sometimes I'm trimming this because it's just slightly off. This paper I also tea stained on the opposite side, so it doesn't look so stark white. Now these are going to be folded in half this way, and that's what everybody voted on, but I'm also including some of the other one. I think we need more than just 3 pages in here. Let me make sure these edges, I cut them all together, like see this one and this one. is still, the borders, I don't know how the borders come up different sizes. That just doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's get this over here. Okay, so we've got those 3. This paper is by Antique Paperia. So beautiful. Beautiful. This is one I wanted to use for sure because it has that big rose. And I really like this purple one and this pink one. I don't think there's a blue one in here. So that will give us 6. And they're all Antique Paperias. So there's no wrong. They're all by the right people. Now these aren't quite as dark. They're more of a watercolor kind of flowers. But I think they're stunning. They have the doily on the end, and I am putting the avocado dyed doilies in this kit, or in this book also. So that should look really pretty. Didn't think it'd take this long to cut. Of course, I like to have it all cut, and I decide, you know, what's going to go where. Now, that one, let me look here and see what the other side looks like. Oh, it looks fine. Okay, I thought it was going to have a white edge, but it doesn't. See how pretty that is? Beautiful. Okay, let me see on this side. Here's this one. There wasn't a lot of purple in the cover, but there was blue. And I look at blue and purple real close. Sometimes they can look just alike, you know. Okay, so those are ready. Let me see what else I have. I think that is all. Okay, so I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to do stitching where we need stitching, okay? I used white stitching to stitch any of the books together. When I do the pages, I will also do that same thing. I will stitch these pages together with a coordinating color or muslin, or sometimes I just do it with other paper, you know, because it's basically what we're dealing with. So, and I'll do both of these things that way. Everything else can go over in the stack to go in the book. And I hope, let me see how much time we have. I probably will put this book together and do the stitching. Oh, we're right at an hour. So that's not going to allow us any time to do that part. But I'll do it and have it all ready. I mean, you guys know how to stitch on the machine, right? And I'll do that. And what I'm going to do with these is just like if you were... So they're going to be like this. I'm going to show you so you'll know what I'm doing. They'll be like this. I'll put the wrong sides together, okay? And I'll fold. Let me get a piece of paper here that I can use. And I'm just going to use this as an example. It may not be this particular paper. You never know. It may be. So then I'll fold in half. I won't use a piece of paper this wide. This is like 1 inch wide. Probably will be more like, I'll probably take like a 1/2 inch off of here, off of the paper I use. Although this paper is pretty close to the color. And then I will cut it to the height of this page. And so what we'll do is we'll go like this. So I've got this folded in half. I will cut about that much off and leave it, you know, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, then I take it and I measure it with the height of the paper. Okay, with a little hangover so that I know I can trim it off. I just use my fingernail to make that decision. I know most of you probably know how to do this, but I like to make sure everybody understands. So this would be the front part of it. And you do it on the inside too. So you can do it like this. This is bigger than we want. This is not going to be this wide. I'm going to bring it about, I think I'm going to do 1/2 inch. As small as I can. But now, you don't keep these pages together when you do it. You lay them out, okay, like this. You open this out, but you go ahead and fold it first. And then you lay the center down. And you want to leave a space, just like you would if you were putting a book binding on. Okay. Of course, I'll tape it down if I have to. And then you do it like this. You center it, and then you stitch here, and you stitch here. Now, you can do the inside. This is how the inside will end up looking. You'll see that little fold on both sides. Now, you can put 1 or 2 stitches in it. But what I do here usually is I'll add some washi tape, or I'll add another piece of this cardstock. Okay, so that will be the 2 ways, or muslin, just depending on what I do. But it's super simple. People have been doing it for years with their little golden books when they don't want them to be too long. And so yeah, so I'll do that, and I'll stitch all the tea stained paper. I'll do a design down those to add a little bit of something to the inside. So, hopefully when I see you next, I'll go ahead and have all the stitching done and have everything ready to be bound. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell your friends to come watch. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you. And all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified when my videos go up, click on the bell and you'll get notices in your email. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today. I had a blast. I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate you all. Welcome to all the new subbies that I've gotten in the last week or two. Bye.